Welcome back to the VHS Vault. I am one of your hosts, of course, VHS Jace. Next to me, of course, is Jason Roy Gaston. And we are continuing our retrospective series on Predator movies.
Yes, we are. Oh, my gosh.
Film 3.
Yes.
And I think the most shocking thing, Jason, I found out about this film is you hadn't actually seen this movie before.
I have not seen this movie until the last 48 hours, I suppose, whenever I did see it. I also want to say, before anybody comments, it was Murder Bean. Murder Bean decided to smack me while I was sleeping, and her claw got lodged into my eyelid, and it's just been bleeding under the surface. So, yeah, I did not get into a fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why I look so cool and dangerous today. My little kitten smacked me.
Cat abuse. But not the way you would think
abusing.
Cat abuse. Yeah,
pet abusing,
you're the victim in this scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Predator is on the hunt.
Yes. They are predators, but we're here to talk about this movie, Predators. Your initial reaction to seeing this film 14 years too late?
I think the best thing I can say about it was literally what I messaged you. I didn't hate it. That's it. I didn't hate it. I would not say I loved it, but it was certainly a Predator movie. I think that's all I can say.
I probably like it a bit more than you because I think I like it because it was trying to do something different but keep it the same. So it was bold in some of its choices. I think I really liked the fact of its location being an alien planet, basically a hunting paddock. I certainly like the characters, even though they were a bit one note. It was an interesting idea to bring a bunch of, people that the Predators considered to be a decent hunt. And it wasn't just army dudes, which I thought was a cool idea as well. You had a doctor in there as well. He was a lovely chap.
I had the exact opposite reaction because to me, it's the characters that keep this movie from being great. Because in the past, in the previous two Predator movies, even though you had some tough hombres, you had characters that you cared about. You had characters that you empathized with, and you had characters that you understood. These characters had relationships. These characters were three-dimensional. And so whenever they got canked by the Predator, you felt bad. I did not feel that with this group of people. As you said, they're one note. They were basically all caricatures, and some of them absolutely no redeeming values. The Russian guy was, like, to me, the closest to a character that I cared about. And the second he showed the picture of his family, I'm like, oh, God, he's going to die.
Of course.
Yeah, he's going to die. I feel like I'm going to live forever. So here's a picture of my family. Look how beautiful they are.
I do agree. I think the problem is the lead of this, which is Adrian Brody. Not that because I think he's a wonderful actor. And I think what he's trying to do here is he plays the tough guy well. It's just we never really get to understand what's going on in his head. And, we don't need him to say it, but we need it in his actions. We need it in the way he's doing it. And he plays I'm just all about myself routine way too long in this film. When Danny Trejo shows up in a film, he's dead within 15 minutes. As is in this film.
That's in Danny Trejo's contract, though. Anytime Danny Trejo plays a criminal or somebody evil, he demands that character is killed off because he wants to show people watching that there are consequences to acting that way.
Well,
which is something I have always respected about the guy.
You know where he doesn't get killed off? Machete.
Machete does not.
We'll have to do that one day.
Predators.
You're right.
I've never seen them.
You've never seen.
I've never seen Machete.
Oh, they're fun.
And
they're
I've seen Spy Kids.
Yeah,
I've seen Spy Kids and I've seen Grindhouse. Yeah,
they do have a tie with this film because the producer of this Predator movie was done by Troublemaker Studios, which is in fact Robert Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, yes.
So he
Yes.
had a lot of input into the script, I believe.
I can see that.
I could see that because they're trying to do like the bold things are trying to expand again on the mythology of the predators, which is interesting. We get to see more about their culture. In fact, we get what 3 types of predators here: the
Yes.
tracker, the berserker, and the falconer. Which is an interesting idea, and I even love the idea if they've got one of them strung up.
Yeah, because you would think that they would eventually start hunting each other too. Because what would be the most dangerous prey?
Well,
Another
that
predator.
intimates a social structure, a hierarchy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And that's what they're doing. I also I love the bunch of actors that they got, even though they were the one note, and they were stereotypically written. Again, Predator proves to not be afraid of getting good quality character actors for their movies, and we have a
Oh yeah.
bit of a cast here. And we've mentioned Janet Trejo. I mean, shout out Topher Grace, Lawrence Fishburne for his extended cameo. Really, it's just an extended cameo. To Walter Goggins in one of his earlier films.
Oh
Being
yeah. Yeah.
and he was great. I'm sorry, he's great playing that slimy criminal. And he was, one of his first times he played a slimy criminal. And I did enjoy him in this.
I actually, if there was any character that had a decent character arc, it would be him. And
Yeah,
I was kind of surprised because at first I was just like, oh well, he's gonna be the first one killed off because he's just an irredeemable, horrible human being. No, they kept him around, and even though he never like had a redemption,
yeah.
he had a full character arc, and at the end, not a bad. He was a bad guy, but he wasn't a bad
Evil.
guy.
Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah,
the bad guy.
he. I
Yeah.
think he was a fundamentally broken human being who was up here. Something did not connect right, but
Yeah.
in the end, he came through when it was needed the most.
Yeah. And
And
he
I
formed
thought,
that and
yeah,
he formed that bond with Academy Award winner Michelle Ali,
yes,
who's in this film. Like
yes,
it'd only be a few years later when he won his Academy Award, but man, he was jacked in this film. But they had that nice little relationship as well, a little moment,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
which kind of worked. Alice Braga playing the female lead in it. She rubbed me up against the wrong way, and it's nothing to do with her. It's just I felt she was playing the stereotypical tough girl.
You could have switched her out with Michelle Rodriguez,
Could have,
and it
yeah.
would have been the exact same character.
Yeah.
Um, I really, I don't know. It seems like we go through these phases where every tough character, every tough female character is literally the same character. Do you remember that weird period around 2000 when every tough independent female character was also bisexual?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Oh
that
yes.
just
I can think of a
it just
couple of films.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
strikes me as the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
a bunch of old white dudes in an office going, "Do you know what would make a woman tough? Let's make her like boys and girls. How scandalous!"
Yes. Yes.
Not that
Yes.
I don't think she was in this movie, but it just kind of reminded me of that trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's
here,
got
it's just
a
the glowering, you
yeah.
know, get away from me kind of thing.
What did you think of the Predator dogs?
um, I didn't hate them.
I didn't hate the scene either, but it takes you straight back to Hulk dogs. Like once I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is their Hulk dogs. From the Hulk movie from
Oh, Hulk! I
2003.
thought you were saying hot dogs.
No, Hulk dogs.
Are you referencing another movie I've never
There's the
seen?
Aussie accent again. Yeah, Hulk dogs.
Oh, Hulk dogs. I. Oh gosh, that's a movie we need to do is Ang Lee's
Yes,
Hulk.
at some point. Out of all
I
of them,
don't think I've watched that. The only thing I remember from that scene is the poodle, and I remember the Hulk like grabs a dog off of there because I went with my little brother to go watch that movie. He was probably like 19 at the time, still kind of immature. Hulk pulls a dog away from the tree, and the dog is like, you see the underside of the dog, and you see the dog's beans, basically. And my little brother goes, balls. And then the Hulk like punches him right there in the nads. And both of us die laughing. That's the only thing about that movie I remember. But no, I didn't think that was like Hulk dogs at all. I thought it was, it makes sense culturally. It makes
It
sense that they
does.
would
That
have
they would
hunting
have
creatures.
and it's more of an expansion on on the mythos,
Yes.
the culture, the society of our predators. But it's also with all their attempt to kind of expand now. I think it falls flat though when the scenes do play out, especially in that last third of the movie, where I
It,
kind of don't really care at this point. Um, the film also, I think, gets a big negative rap because it's a nihilistic ending.
yes,
That
I agree.
ain't like spoiler alert here, guys, but no one really wins out of this at all. Um,
I'm not a big fan of movies where, even with movies where I think the characters are kind of weak, I'm not a big fan of, oh no, we're dead, roll
yeah.
credits. I think it would have been a lot better if somehow they had gotten the ship and gotten in it.
Mm,
And then as they're flying away, like, is this really going to get us home? I don't know. And they fly away. At least then
yeah.
you got some hope.
You got something, but not
Yeah.
here. We don't get that here, you know. Um,
No, no.
it's also a very dreary looking film. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
very dark and very so there's not a lot of you will say about the original Predator film, which this film is trying to reboot in its own way. It quite a lot of color in that original Predator film. It's a lot of green. There's always a lot of light, except for when we get to the nighttime scenes. But there's fire to help illuminate. Here it's just there is chunks of this movie where there's no light source or whatever the moonlight is, and it is you got to put your contrast down. You got to be able to. You just can't.
Yeah,
So
we
yeah,
went through that post Matrix era where every director desaturated their film.
yeah.
And
This is it.
it lasted so long, and I'm so glad we're coming out of it. When the Barbie movie came out, my eyeballs almost exploded. I was like, I forgot what color looks like. And now it just seems like every movie has got wonderful, beautiful colors again. And stop
Uh,
desaturating your movies. Don't do it. Zack Snyder, stop. Everybody else, stop. Wachowski, stop. Stop
uh,
desaturating movies. Colors are nice. We like color.
I apologize if I seem a bit distracted at the moment. My cat just puked in my office just then, and it's got an aroma. Let's just say that, all right? So
Did he do the whole?
it did, and it's happening as you're talking. I'm looking at him going, "You're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do it." But anyway,
No,
he
I
wasn't
always think they're
clearly.
going to start some kind of hip hop rap thing, like
Well, actually,
gonna
I
throw
think
up on the carpet.
that's his review of
Throw up
Predators.
on the
Honestly, sitting
carpet.
right
Throw up on the carpet.
there. Yes, yes. Look, I
You've
will
never
say
thrown up
though,
on the
I'm
carpet, have you? No, you have not.
It's
Look how
like, oh,
pretty he
this
is.
house is 70% tiles, Jason. It's 70% tiles and it's carpet every time. Every freaking
I
time.
have 2 rugs in my room, and it's like that's where they decide they want to pee. And I don't get it. They have a litter box literally 2 feet away from it. It's like, nope, let's squat on this rug.
Well, I say, Jason, why don't we send our cats to an alien planet and let them go hunted by some
I would
predators?
never subject an
They'll
alien
win,
planet
but
to that kind of punishment.
that's true. That's true. Look, I will go to the defense of this film, even though right now it's fair to say, out of the 3 films that we've watched, this is the weakest one. I don't think that's a
Yes.
controversial statement. It's still, to me, better than something like Alien Resurrection. Like, this
You're not
is,
wrong.
this is getting to not bad territory. I think it's forgettable. That's why people don't remember. It's a forgettable film.
I have to agree. And again, I did not hate this movie. I thought it was a perfectly fine,
Mm,
serviceable movie. But I'm going to be honest, I've already forgotten half of it.
yeah.
There was no standout scenes. There were really no standout characters. I remember Danny Trejo, but I can't remember what he was like in this movie because it's literally Danny Trejo from every movie. Could have been from Machete. It could have been from Harold and Kumar Saves Christmas. It could have been from any movie. Even there wasn't even a defining action set piece or even just that cool moment. It was just the movie was at a mellow 5 all the way through. It never got better than a 5. It never got worse than a 5. It was simply on the level. The only thing I remember perfectly was Topher Grace's reveal at the end. Because whenever that happened, I rolled my eyes so hard I saw the back of my own brain. Because I just thought, this is literally out of nowhere, and it's dumb, and it does not service the story. And how did he get up into the parachute at the very beginning of the movie?
Yeah. Well, I will say there was a chance of making that something a good revelation, but it was executed poorly. But this film has a fundamental error from the start. It puts the film in a narrative that it's about a mystery. There is no mystery this time.
No, we know what's going on. We know
the predators. They open up with them. We're not hiding anything here. So basically, you expect the audience to travel into a film where there's supposed to be reveals. There's nothing to reveal. And that's why they revert to a gimmick, which is a reveal that the friendly doctor is actually a dangerous serial killer.
Incidentally, stop casting Topher Grace as the bad guy. I love Topher Grace. I really do. I love the guy. Any cast member from that 70s show who says, no, screw you, he belongs in jail, is okay in my book.
Oh, yeah.
But, y'all, he is not villain material. He's just not. And I say that with the utmost respect to Topher Grace. I like Topher Grace because he's a likable person. Even whenever he's playing the sniveling guy who's like, look at my children, please save me, oh my God. I'm just sitting there going, I really like him. And then, yes, I'm actually a serial killer, and I've been here the whole time. He's such a nice guy. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Stop casting Topher Grace as a bad guy. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, well, he had that period from the late 2000s, wasn't it? It was this film and Venom. Sorry, playing Venom in Spider-Man 3. So yeah.
Which honestly, he was almost there in Spider-Man 3. I know a lot of people say no, he was not. He was almost there. I think that if the movie would have been better, he would have had it. I don't think it was
that particular role. He gets denigrated more so for the CGI character design of Venom than I think his portrayal as Eddie Brock, because the design of Venom was wrong, and we know that. But with this film here, you mentioned it once before. It's got a rather interesting soundtrack, very familiar soundtrack.
You might even say it's very Silvestri-ish.
Yes. Alas, it's not. It's not. Silvestri.
It's not, but it's a very convincing imitation, because whenever I heard the score, I was like, is this Alan Silvestri again? They got him back? No,
this is a composer called John Debney is the real composer's name. He's the Wish version of Alan.
Oh, gosh, I was going to say Timu. You beat me to it because you wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, I made a 5-year-old reference. You made a more current one.
Yeah.
Nonetheless,
I enjoyed the score. I enjoyed the score because I thought it was really interesting how it started out very derivative of Alan Silvestri, and slowly, without you even noticing, it turned into something different.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah. So it has some good ideas in it. Some actually even executed not too bad. I do like the idea of a hunting ground, a different planet for something different. I did like the idea of creating a hierarchy with the predators. I did think they had quality actors. It was just poorly written. And again, if you're doing a Predator film, you can't do It's a Mystery in a sequel-based environment. Something like Prey, which we'll get to, that works perfectly because we know it's hunting, but we get her point of view of the mystery. But here we don't get that. We're not really following anyone. We're observing the whole team.
We
know everything.
There's nothing I like less in a movie than whenever characters are trying to figure out something that I already know,
Mm.
and it's not one of those things that they figure out in 2 or 3 minutes. They spend like 45 minutes to an
Mm.
hour trying to figure it out. Quite honestly, it could have been easily fixed.
Yeah.
Make Lawrence Fishburne's character the main actor. Starts
Mm.
out on the planet. He sees people parachute in. He goes out. He explains everything to them in 10 minutes, and then the movie can continue. There we go. All
Yeah.
fixed. And then
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne dies
Well, I
again.
wonder if they were trying to set up a sequel, and I do think it was also a victim of that period of time where you can't make a big budget film unless you refer to a potential sequel. Um, but it was never going to happen. I mean, this movie did well. It still made money at the box office. It was rather a cheap film to make too, which is made for $40 million, Jason.
That is surprising because it doesn't look like a $40 million film. I would have thought at least 120.
Yeah,
And
the effects
I'm
were
talking in
excellent.
2010 money. Yeah.
Yeah, the effects were great. Everything was kind of great. And it made 127 million domestically, but so it did make money. But it is a shock that it took a further 8 years before we would get another Predator movie.
Wasn't the rights all messed up though, or
I
am I thinking
believe
of a
there
different
was some court
franchise?
cases, but trust me, money talks. They would have,
Yeah.
8 years is still a long time over minor legal issues. Yeah, overall, it's not a film that I would rip out of the collection and pretend it doesn't exist. It very proudly sits in the Predator collection as such, even though it isn't the greatest film. So that's where I'll leave it.
I have to agree. It is definitely the weakest of the three so far, but I don't hate it. I
No,
don't hate it. It's got more merit than it does faults.
yeah.
As I said, it's a solid 5 all the way through. Never gets worse, never gets better. It's just nice and consistent, but
Now
it's
we
enjoyable.
we move on in a couple of weeks to the Predator, Jason. You're aware of its reputation, even though you haven't seen it,
I'm
correct?
aware that it's not very highly regarded, but I
No.
have heard a few people who have said nice things about it. So I'm
Mm.
going to wait and see it on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be infected by it. But before we do that, before we talk about the Predator, we have got another movie coming up which you haven't seen. We're on a run of doing movies you haven't seen lately,
I know. I'm going to have
and
to find some you haven't seen.
I'm very proud to be able to show you this one because I indeed like this film. I haven't seen this film in probably 30 years, but I remember just loving it, and it's got a great reputation. And considering the way things are at the moment, it might be a poignant film to watch at this point, and that is called Falling Down. Michael Douglas in Falling Down, made
Yes,
1990, I believe.
I
A little
remember
film
the commercials for it. Yeah.
made by the same director as Batman and Robin. Don't let
Ah,
that.
Joel Schumacher.
Joel
You know, he
Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher made quality movies
He did.
and
He was a
Batman and
great
Robin.
dramatic director. He was a great
I
dramatic.
and I'm speaking of somebody I actually liked Batman Forever,
Oh, so do I.
but not Batman and Robin.
No, they
Sorry,
just took
no.
it that I always say Batman Forever. He danced on the line in Batman and Robin. He was so far past that line, he couldn't see the line anymore.
In Joel's defense, I don't think it was 100% his call though.
No, I know the toyetic story.
Yeah, and I know that before he passed, he did apologize to the entire Batman fan base for Batman and Robin. So he was cool in my book after that.
Yeah, in one of the best director's commentaries you'd ever want to listen to because it's the most honest by him.
I
And that's
haven't
where he
listened
brings
to
out
that.
apologize.
I need to
You've got to
watch.
listen to it. You can find it
Yeah, I need to.
online. It's fantastic. But yeah, we'll be moving on to Falling Down, so I'm really excited to do that. And then we'll be jumping into The Predator. Shane Black decided he wanted to do, he's sick of being in the movie. He wanted to make a Predator movie.
Well, I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah. But do you know where we're getting close to? I must say this. We are getting close to those two films that we've been building up all year to, Jason. Aliens versus Predator, and then Aliens versus Predator 2.
Sorry. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
But you have heard the rumor too, Jace, that we are apparently getting 2 more Predator films next year. So this retrospective series,
yes, they're filming the sequel to Prey right now, which is interesting because it's going to be the first Predator movie with a direct sequel, and I'm all here for it because Prey was absolutely fantastic. I still want to see a Predator in feudal Japan, though.
Yeah,
I just think that would be amazing.
I just think with that film, they basically injected that franchise with the biggest B12 shot you could ever get.
Yes,
because it established multiple ideas now that you can do from that, you know, which is absolutely fantastic. And there will be extra Aliens movies, so we'll have to jump back into some of these Aliens movies.
The sequel to Romulus.
A sequel to Romulus.
Because Romulus was
very
fantastic.
Interesting, isn't it? That both franchises have decided to have direct sequels.
Mm-hmm. And I'm cool with it. I love it. Oh, I love the Alien and Predator is experiencing a resurgence right now. That good old-fashioned Disney money, just waking them both up, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
You would have thought that would be the telltale sign of a demise in the franchises, but you're right. It's actually helped them quite a lot. So very cool, very cool. But until then, until falling down, guys,
have some money.
Until falling down, these guys who are great enough to follow us each week, if they want to support us, how can they support us, Jace?
Well, my friends, if you would like to support these 2 old men who talk about movies online, please look at the video description below and see how you can become a patron on Patreon for as little as $5 a month, or more, if you would like, and you want to be cool. Or you can become a channel member by visiting this YouTube channel's main page. Remember, give a lot, give often, give it to me.
All right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you next time on the VHS Vault.